Oh, good morning, good moed, everyone. Um, After many minios vikuvim, difficulties and obstacles, I managed to. I'm now in my son's house in Miron, which is in the north part of Israel, but there was no internet connection. I have a whole bunch of other excuses, but that's why we're starting late. But tomorrow, God willing, we will begin at 8:15 as regular. Let us continue. Here we go. So now we'll learn a mimer. We'll learn for as long as we can. We'll learn for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We'll also learn a beautiful sikh of the Rebbe. Ayom Yona Ayom Rav Yanos. We say this in the Hallel prayer. It's one in Psalms. It says the sea saw and it ran away, and the mountains danced like rams, like goats, danced around. In Eitzor 11, we have to understand Lama Haharin. Now this is talking about the splitting of the sea. The seventh day of Passover was when the sea split and the Jewish people went over the sea. One of the biggest and most famous and inspiring miracles of all time. And it really happened to the Jews, and this is the basis of Judaism, these amazing miracles. And it was all in order to give the Jews the Torah, and then to bring them in the land of Israel, where they would use the Torah to make the world into the place it was supposed to have been before Adam sinned with the tree, even better. And so that was all these miracles and wonders were only to get the Jews to be devoted to God the same way that God was devoted to the Jews. So Ayam, it says the sea saw and it ran away, right? When the Red Sea, the Yam Suf, when it split, the Reed Sea, when it split, and the mountains danced like deer, like, rams. Hine, we have to understand, Lama Harim Rakdu, why did the mountains have to dance and the sea saw and it ran away? Why couldn't the sea dance? And we don't see anywhere that it says that when the Jews went across the Red Sea, the Yam Suf, really it wasn't the Red Sea. They called it the Red Sea. You call it the Reed Sea. Whatever it was, we don't see anywhere that it's written in the Torah that the mountains danced. What does that mean? In any case, but King David said that they did. The mountains danced, so it must be that they danced. If King David said it, he knew what he was talking about. The mountains danced and the sea ran away. What is it talking about? There's a book called the Shlah. The Shlah was written by a man called Yeshaya Horowitz. He called his book the Shnei Luchot HaBrit. He was a great Kabbalist and he was also a great Talmudist. He wrote it in Maseches Pesachim. He wrote Pirush Ki Banisa. What did it mean? The running away, that the sea ran away. This is serving God from fear. And the dancing, this is serving God from love. Okay, according to Judaism, everything in the world has a soul. Everything has a soul. Everything in the world has a soul and it has a spiritual source as well. So, for instance, that's why the planets move around, because they have souls and they move according to the path that God decided for them. That's what God decided. God decided that trees grow up and that water falls down. And everything, he created everything that has a soul, everything with a soul, rather. So it says not only does everything have a soul, but also the soul is connected to also spiritual powers which are above it. So mountains down here don't usually dance around, and rivers don't like run away from someone. But the spiritual force that's behind them does. Eved. This is the level of a sar, like a minister, and a servant. Okay, a minister and a servant, we'll see there's a big difference, right? A sar, when the king reveals himself, So there's the ministers, they're close to him, and so they're close, they appreciate the king. And the servants, they're afraid. When the king reveals himself, and of course here the king is God, Azai then, a minister of the king, what king's cabinet, they serve with happiness. They're there. They're just waiting. The king chose them because of their special abilities and their unique talents that only he recognizes, and they're very happy when the king comes. And the simcha is even greater. And this is the mountains. The mountains, this corresponds to a spiritual level, which are called the emotional aspects of Atzilut. Emotional aspects of Atzilut, this is various revelations of God. Revelations of God. The essence of God we can't reveal, but the revelations of God we can. Shemisham, that from there, Shoresh and Hashamos come to the source of souls. That's where all the Jewish souls come from. It says they come from this aspect of God, this revelation of God. If you want to call it the highest revealed aspect of God, that's called Atzilut. This is like what was revealed in the Holy of Holies. Shemisham, that from there comes the souls, and the souls are called Achim, they're called brothers, Lamakom to God. Like a sar, like a minister. Livnei Melech in front of the king. Therefore, they're very happy. They reveal their source, right? Like when a child comes back home, right, from the war, from far away. So his father is happy and he's happy. Therefore, it says the mountains dance. These are like the souls of the Jews, the inner souls of the Jews, all the spiritual levels that serve God from love. Serve God from love. Okay, what does it mean they serve God from love? The God creates the world, right? He creates the world for free. This is a very, very basic principle of Judaism, and a very, very difficult, if not impossible one, to really comprehend, and that is that we are creations. We're creations, we're being created. Who would dream of such a thing like that? But that's the truth. We are creations. The whole world's a big creation of God. We should be infinitely grateful every instant for the fact that we're creations of God. That's a very basic axiom of life. It's an axiom, it's a basis of life, that we're creations. And when a person is in trouble, when he's in difficulties, he can always go back to that one thing that he has that no one can take away from him, and that is that he is being created by God. This is Jew, non-Jew. Animals, trees, because the animals and trees don't appreciate anything, but human beings can appreciate. So we are being created by God. When you feel that, so you feel a tremendous love. The who, bechinas sar. Okay, then there's also bechinas eved. Then there's the level of a servant. Servant of God. That's another aspect of creation. God creates everyone that we can appreciate Him, and that's one of our obligations, to appreciate God. And we've got a lot to appreciate Him, namely everything. God is creating us, giving us life. That's the God of the Jews. But then there's also another level of life, which is a little bit deeper, and that is an eved. An eved, a servant. A servant, avodat tabiyiro. Then a servant serves from fear. What does it mean, a fear? What does it mean, a fear? A servant, when he's alone, there's no master around, so he's on his own. You know, he can do what he wants, eat what he wants, sleep when he wants, do what he wants to. The fact of the matter is, though, is that if he continues that way, then the whole world will be destroyed. Everything will be. He won't get anything done, right? Or he'll get done a very minimum. But if there's a master and the master tells him what to do, then he can do things far above his abilities or his plans or his view of life. Suddenly he's attached to the king. So the feeling that he is self-sufficient and that he understands everything, right? That's him alone. But as soon as the king comes, then all of a sudden everything that he has, everything he was certain of, it all disappears. It's like he stepped into an elevator shaft and the elevator is not there. He was sure it was there. The king appears, the master appears. All of a sudden, he realizes everything he's been doing up to now is totally wrong. And he is a servant, always the servant of the king. Azai, that's fear. Azai, then when the king comes, Tipula Emova Pachat. The king comes, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. The king has to tell him what to do. He's just afraid. He wants to do the opposite. A minister is exactly the opposite. The minister comes, the king comes, oi, the king is here. I'm so happy. Now he can tell me what to do. So happy to serve the king. Right? That's a sar, a minister, because he knows what the goal is. He knows what he has the big picture in mind also, but just what to do exactly. He's a minister of the king. A servant has no idea what to do. The king has to tell him everything on his own. The servant has to completely negate himself. Then it falls, that's what's called aim of a pachat. Piotr. Bezeu hayom, that's the sea. The sea, shemisham shorish bechinas evet. This is a metaphor, and this is the source of the servant. Why? In front of a king. It says, and it ran away. Well, Ahavin said, now let's understand this. We'll skip the parentheses. And these parentheses are usually by the grandson, sometimes by the son of the first Rebbe. Lahavin, that understand, but Tosfos bir, hine mitchila. First of all, yesh lahagdim. We have to the thing of Shvi Pesach, the seventh day of Passover. Seventh day of Passover, Shabo Nikra Yam. That's when the sea split. Mavur Priyetz Chaim, like it's explained in the book Priyetz Chaim. Shu Gamken. Priyetz Chaim is a Kabbalah book, which was written by Rabbi Chaim Vital, the wisdom of the Rev Yitzchak Luria, called the Arizal. It's explained in this book Priyetz Chaim. Shu Gamken. This is the union of Leidat Neshamot. This, the seventh day of Passover, this is the birth of the souls. People's souls are born. Souls are born on the seventh day of Passover. That's what it's written. Bnei Yisrael holchu be'abasha b'sochayam. That's what it means that the Jewish people walked on the dry land through the sea. What does it mean? In other words, the Jewish souls come from this aspect of water, which is concealment of God. For them to be revealed, they walk on the dry land within the sea. As the souls come to birth, that's the idea of a birthday. A birthday. Lubavitcher Rebbe made stressed very much that a birthday of a person he should celebrate, because he's celebrating the reason he came into the world, the revelation of the soul. The Inyan, that's the day of so the seventh day of Passover, it says that this is the day that the souls are born. What does this mean? We'll see. The Inyan key, it means like this, the explanation is like this. Key, Haneshamos, the souls, one moment. Not responding. Oh, taking time. There. So the Jewish souls, it says, came from God's thought. Then they are called brothers and friends to God. Achim b'reim. The Jewish souls. Now here we have a big mystery, and the mystery is, what are the Jews? Well, what are the Jews? The Jews are not just a nation or a race or a religion. We see the Jews that are totally not religious, or a Jew, let's say he's a convert, a genuine convert, that he converts according to the Torah. So his parents weren't Jewish, and nevertheless he's totally Jewish. And his children, right, let's say he marries a convert, and his children, let's say they're not religious, or even he decides, God forbid, not to be Jewish and religious at all. It doesn't make any difference. He's Jewish. And even though he doesn't talk like a Jew, doesn't look like a Jew, doesn't act like a Jew, doesn't think like a Jew, doesn't do anything, but he's Jewish. There's nothing else like it, vaguely, right? A Catholic that decides he's not going to be a Catholic, that's it, he's not a Catholic anymore. Right? A Muslim decides he's not a Muslim. Any other religion, any nation, right? A person from Scotland or something comes to America, he's not, after 2 or 3 generations, right? He's called my grandparents were from Scotland. If you say something bad about Scotland, he doesn't care. What does he care about Scotland? The Jewish people, a Jew, right? You say something about the Jews, see someone in the news, there's something, Einstein got something, it's good for the Jews. A Jew is always somehow or other Jews. There's thousands and thousands of jokes about Jews who try to leave their identity and deny their identity, and they fool themselves into this. Because the Jews are called, in their source, they're called brothers and friends of God. Just like God, he's not going to go away. I mean, you can deny him, you can oppose him, you can bring proofs that he doesn't exist, but he's not going to go away. The fact of the matter is God exists, and he creates us. You can create all sorts of weird religions, and people worship people, and people worship all sorts of things. Right? But the fact of the matter is the Creator is creating everybody. It says that's one of the main accomplishments of Mashiach, is that he's going to bring the whole world to recognize the Creator that's creating them. Nothing closer than that. And people will feel very, very, have very deep regret that they've been denying the Creator, and they say that the disrespect and the that they've been giving to the one who's giving them life all the time. But that's what Mashiach will bring to everybody. Everybody will have this regret, they'll have the feeling, and they'll throw all of their religions away. There won't be any religions. Everyone will only worship the Creator. And that's why the Jews are special. The Jews are chosen to tell the world how much God loves them, that he's creating them. Because the Jews are called brothers and friends to God. Well, Pirish, Achim, V'Reim, what does it mean that they are brothers and friends to God? Because God, God is also called the infinite light, blessed Him. Or Ein Sof. God is called the infinite light. Or light, Ein Sof, that has no limit. Blessed be He. Kamalubash Bamidas, when God encloses himself in his personality, in his emotions of Atzilut. Like we said before, this highest aspect of God. That's the source where the Jewish people came from. That's the name for the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is the name of God. Ein Sof Baruch Hu, because the essence of God himself, not the light of God, but the Ein Sof, the essence of God himself. God has no emotions or aspects. From God's essence, so to speak, you can't create the world. You can't call the essence of God any name. That's why we call God Hashem, the name. Ella Rak al Bechinas Yizgalus, only on the revelation of God. Then God has a name, Yud, and then is Chochma, Hey, is Bina, etc. Hine Samach Rav Neshamos to Israel, the 600,000 Jewish souls are drawn from these 10,000 letters of the thought of God, which are called brothers to God. Shein. Okay, we'll have to stop here, and I have to get my battery, my charger. We'll stop here, and we'll come right back. There'll be a class in Torah or maybe a class in Sichos. Class in Sichos. Let's stop the share. For now, I will be right back in